Hello and welcome to Beyond Sunday, a podcast from Schweitzer Church. I'm your host, Jason Langer, and in studio today is Shelly Rogers. Welcome, Shelly.
Thank you.
Today we're going to talk about a missions trip that Shelly and I went on, also with Alec Knopf. There he is in the window waving at us. We went to Uganda in January of 2025 and saw a number of things, came back with a number of stories. Shelly, one of the questions that we've heard and encountered many times is this question, and I'd love for you to answer it. Why did we go to Uganda?
Well, it's kind of an interesting story. It started with Keith Lee, who introduced us to Brent Smith. Keith and Brent had a long-term friendship, and Keith was involved in the work that happened in Uganda. And Brent has developed a model of College of the Ozarks in Uganda. And he's developing this university system based off of working through your degree. And he came and he shared about it and he told us more about it. And he was persistent about it to the point that we thought maybe we need to go and check it out. And so we did what's called a discovery trip to just see exactly what God was doing in Uganda and how Schweitzer might play a part in that.
What is the... Okay, I'm going to use a phrase that Pastor Spencer sometimes uses, like the thing behind the thing. So Keith Lee was involved with this, Brent Smith was involved, but then what's the thing driving a sense of global missions at Schweitzer right now?
Well, it's something that Schweitzer has not really been invested in before. And so God clearly commands us to take the gospel to the ends of the earth. And it's also important for us to see and be reminded that God is working all over the world in all groups of people. And so there's a sense of bringing the gospel and then also receiving what God is doing in other places to inspire us. And so we're starting to develop a framework of finding organizations that we can partner with that kind of think the same way that we do and have the same heart and mission that Schweitzer does.
All right. Now that we've got some of those whys there, and if people are interested in hearing about what we saw on Uganda, what we experienced, there have been a number of tools that we've developed already, shared, and you're going to find some things. If you go to the show notes, you'll find Shelly, Alec, and I shared in a service recently at Schweitzer Church. That'll be there. There's also an article in the Spark that I wrote, described some of what we saw. You can find that in the show notes and some other things. So go to the show notes and you can find some things. But we really want to turn a corner and think about, okay, we had a discovery trip. So now what's next with Uganda?
Well, part of the discovery that we found was that Bobi Agricultural Institute and the organizations that Brent is working with was really a good fit for what we wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking at a long-term partnership with them that we could take people over to see, that we could support financially, and that we could have a sending and a receiving relationship with the folks in Uganda. To put it in perspective, Uganda does not have accredited universities. Through disease and through war, they lost a whole generation of people. Mm-hmm. And so think about the transfer of knowledge that comes from one generation to the next. And so when you lose that, education becomes even more valuable than it is in general. And so through this partnership, we have an opportunity to connect with those who are mentoring young people spiritually and educationally and developmentally. And so we're looking at a long-term partnership. One of the things that will be happening is we're going to take a very small team in October so that other people beyond the three of us can see what's going on and share with that. And then we will have more partnership opportunities that become available where people can use their skills to serve the people in Uganda.
If somebody wanted to be a part of that team or wanted to hear how the development of that team is taking shape, what would they do?
Well, they can contact me. They can send me an email or call the church office. We're also going to have an informational meeting at the end of April. We don't have the exact date set for that yet, but you can be watching on the announcements and on the website for those dates and times, or come and speak to me and we'll make sure that you get informed of where and when.
Okay. Are there any, so thinking about that trip, are there going to be any like prerequisites that people would need to have before they, or are you looking for any specific skill sets in a small team that you lead?
Well, for this particular trip, it will be just an openness, flexibility, willing to go and see. We may do some short, intensive classes on budgeting or on writing, but it will be mostly a go and see trip, see
Okay.
what they're doing, and then see how you might be able to plug in the future.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Shelley. Thanks for leading the endeavor of global interaction and global discipleship at Schweitzer. And really appreciate all the things that you're doing, leading in that endeavor. And thanks for leading this next survey and into Uganda. A number of people are gonna really be blessed because of it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, folks, for tuning in to Beyond Sunday. We always look forward to seeing you on Sunday and beyond. Have a great day. Bye-bye.